What is up, people? Today I will be reviewing Overlord in Blu-ray and 4K, and I got that coming up for you next. So I just got Overlord in, and I definitely wanted to review that for you guys. I actually had some requests back when this was in theaters to review it when it came out in 4K, and so here it is today. So I am starting off with the movie itself. This movie is just kick-ass and awesome. And I definitely know why that person suggested it to me that suggested it, you know. It's a good movie that has kind of a silly hook, but they want to play it seriously, and to my surprise, because most times when they want to play silly things and goofy stuff like that seriously, I don't necessarily go for it. I actually went for it here, though. This movie starts off in World War II like a war movie, and eventually it gets into the horror elements that I won't ruin for anybody. But I would say that that doesn't actually come in until like an hour into this movie. Like, you know, a good amount into this movie until like an hour into it. And for the first hour, it is just you spending time with these soldiers and them trying to accomplish their mission actually after being shot down from an airplane. And this movie is intense. It actually takes place in Nazi Germany, and it just really has a great amount of tension that is all the way through. And even when they actually go to the more ridiculous and the more horror elements towards the end of the film, I definitely feel like I was ready for it, and I was all in at that point in time. And it doesn't disappoint, because when it gets there, it definitely gives you what you want. This movie is kick-ass. It's awesome. 9 out of 10. See it. You won't be disappointed if you like war movies or if you like horror. I do feel like you get all of it here. This is a great movie. And getting into the video quality here, starting off with the Blu-ray, this movie was actually shot digitally, but it does have a thin layer of grain, artificial grain, and that is just to give it that extra grit that the filmmaker wanted it to have. But what I will say is, grain haters, you know, just putting it out there, this isn't the absolute cleanest transfer by design. But I do feel like that digital cleanness and clarity definitely comes in, and you still get that with this Blu-ray. You know, as far as detail goes, this is actually a very detailed looking film, and that is because of just the setting that we are put in. You know, you crash on this beach and you get a whole lot of detail in the beach and the landscape and over the water. And then after that, the crew goes into the jungle, and even though it is at night, with the HD cameras, they can definitely capture a lot of detail in the grass and the fields that they are in. I definitely did love that. Facial features, there is a great amount of detail there as well. And then, of course, when you get to the more horror elements here, that definitely steps it up a bit in the detail apartment. I will say that the colors here do tend to bleed when you are talking about harsh reds. There are points in this movie that do go into harsher colors, and specifically the reds, they do bleed a little bit. But other than that, I would say that this is a very solid Blu-ray that I would actually give an 8 out of 10 to. And getting into the 4K version here, this was actually given a 2K digital intermediate, so this is actually upscaled to 4K, but don't worry about it, people, because we are given Dolby Vision support to help us out. And, you know, just to talk about clarity and detail here. You do see quite a bit more in close-ups and facial features, but as far as landscapes go and as far as overall clarity, it is subtle, but the uptick is still here. But largely, and I want to talk about this, this transfer is all about the HDR and Dolby Vision, because that is where it is at, people. Wow. There is a lot of fire effects in this movie that have to do with the action, and all of it here, it just packs so much of a punch, specifically with Dolby Vision. Literally, some of the fire effects, it was almost blinding. They were so bright, you know? And I was amazed by it, quite honestly. And then when you have just the saturation in this movie, the HDR definitely accentuates that specific element to the cinematography here. And then with the bleeding and the black levels, I do feel like that is largely stepped up here with the 4K version, and that is why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It is all about HDR, but specifically, if you have Dolby Vision, check this one out because it is a winner. And getting into the audio quality here, so whether you purchase the Blu-ray or the 4K, you do get the Dolby Atmos mix, and you will be thankful because this is reference quality, and this is what Dolby Atmos is all about. From frame one, when they are in the airplane, it just fully circumferences you all around your surrounds, through your fronts, with the clarity and the crispness that is just literally top notch. And then with the action that is going on in your height speakers, before the plane even gets shot down, it's just incredible. And then when the plane gets shot down, you definitely get that bassiness that you love to have in your action films, and I know I do anyway. And you know, it is just top notch, and it does not disappoint all throughout. I will say that as far as clarity and speaker separation goes, you will not find any better than this. And as far as demo-worthy material, I would put this right up there with The Predator as far as audio goes. And you know what? That is exactly where I am at with this. 10 out of 10. This is amazing. And as far as the digital copy here goes, this is an iTunes digital copy, which means that you can download the 4K copy on iTunes. And as far as the special features here goes, none of the special features are actually on the 4K Blu-ray. They are all on the standard Blu-ray. And what you get there is a roundtable discussion with the director and the screenwriter, along with J.J. Abrams and a few other people. That is actually interesting. They go into a lot of the production of the film and a lot of the ideas that were behind it. And then you have a featurette that actually goes into the creation of the opening scene in the airplane. You also get one that goes into the troop's mindset and where each troop is at, and a lot of the mindset that actually goes into these troopers. And along with that, you get a featurette that actually goes into the directing as well, as far as the special effects goes as well. You do get one with special effects too. All of them are like 5 minutes long. I know the roundtable discussion is about 11. So look, you get a decent amount here, but unfortunately, none of it is on the 4K disc. And for that, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. This is standard, par. And getting into my last looks at Overlord, look, people, if you are a war film fan or if you are a horror movie fan, you need to see this movie because it is the perfect blending of the two, and you will definitely get what you want. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys just because I actually want you to go in the same way that I went in, and maybe even less surprised considering the fact that I knew the horror elements here. But with that being said, you know what? I still had an excellent time. This movie is a thrilling ride, and I was just tense all throughout. It is actually greatly acted, and I feel like the direction here is strong also. This is just an all-around great movie. And when you get into my final scores of Overlord, on Blu-ray, you come out to a 32 out of 40. And on 4K, you come out to a 33. And that is just because I felt like the 4K presentation just packed a little extra punch. So I gave it that. And coming up next on the channel, there is actually nothing here because I do not have Captain America, the First Avenger in 4K yet, but I have it coming up to me in just a few days. I will check it out for you and review it for you guys. But before that, I actually have to review the film itself in a separate video just because that is what I do for Marvel and DC stuff. So that is what I am doing next in anticipation for that release. So if you are excited about that, subscribe so you know when that video comes out, and comment down below. Let me know about any other releases that you would like me to check out, because I am open to suggestions. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't need to say it because you know it, and I will see all of you next time.